Alright guys, on the 10EE, so this is the spindle speed indicator, or RPM attack, I guess. So it's pretty nasty. I'm going to take this apart, get it cleaned up. I think that's actually real glass. So let's get into this. There's a bunch of these screws all the way around. I have no idea what those screws hold, but I'm assuming that they hold the front bezel on. So we'll get these guys off, and we'll get some purple cleaner. Soak those parts, of course, not the electronic part. See what happens. Perfect. So that actually it's pretty cool. This is it looks like cast aluminum, maybe pretty light. So we'll clean that up, clean the screws up. Curious about this, probably some kind of a gasket under here for this glass. See if they give you a little spot to peel it off, but I don't see it, so let's just try and okay, so it's plastic, it's not glass. The dial face itself is in great shape, really nice and clear. So you got some oil and whatnot around the outside. I'll clean that up. We'll get this cleaned up. This looks like a place to adjust 0 would be my guess. And if it's vertical, it's probably a little bit off of 0. I'm not going to mess with that. All right, so let's go clean this thing up. One thing I want to point out, there's a gasket on here. I have a very thin little screwdriver, and I'm going to try and get that gasket off without ruining it. Not sure if this is a part that's available from Monarch or not. So I'm not going to use purple cleaner on this. The reason for that is it may take this silk screen label off, so I'll just use something a little bit less intense. I'll use purple cleaner on that, and maybe just some cleaner sprayed on a cloth to get this off the outside. Okay, come back. Okay, so I'm back here with the spindle speed indicator. You can see everything cleaned up. Almost, let me just scratch this out of there. Okay, so let's get our gasket back on here. It was this way. I'm thinking at some point in this lathe's life that this gasket has been replaced, because I'm finding it hard to believe that, as old as this thing is, that it is still that pliable. So I noticed on this thing looks like a little vent hole or a little vent channel down at the bottom, and my guess is that that is to let oil drain out. So, and of course it does look like it lines up with the holes, so the 3 holes right here that mounted to the lathe. So we'll get this guy back together. And we'll do our darndest to get the M logo, which actually looks conspicuously like a Mopar logo. We'll get that lined up so it looks straight. So that's a far cry from the other look. And we'll get our screws in here. And I desoldered this thing from connection points here and here. This must be a potentiometer to adjust probably full scale, or because you adjust 0 from the front. So we'll put these in there. Full scale on this particular lathe, as you saw, is 4,000 RPM. Got to tell you though, on my other lathe that's also 4,000, it's not scary when you have a collet chuck in there, but you put a 4-jaw, and it definitely is a stand away from the lathe moment when you speed that thing all the way up. I'm sure it's fine. I wouldn't do it. Three little screwdrivers here. We are made in Germany. If you avoid using them as pry bars, they last forever. So what I'll do is go all around, make sure everybody's tight. Okay, there we have it. Thing looks pretty good. I might try a little scratch remover, plastic polish. Got some scratches on the front, but you know, I don't think that that's going to be necessary, but you know, maybe. There you go. Okay, guys, so you know, the paint's barely dry. Sorry about that. But you know, I just got to throw some bling on this thing. You saw we got this cleaned up, so we're going to get this thing mounted up on here. And this one was soldered on from the factory. The other Monarch I did, it was actually had like terminal connectors on it. So I'm gonna do that. And, okay, some of you old timers, check this out. See what that says? Archer. That's Radio Shack. Maybe I should save this. It's probably worth money as a collector's item. Rosin core solder. So this one right here was marked for the on the side of the potentiometer. So let's see if we can't get that. This is where a helper or extra set of fingers would be really handy. Let me think about this for a second. I'll hold on to that thing. All right, let's see. I'm going to put a little loop in it. Sorry if you can't see it. Whoop. All thumbs today. I'm thinking if it spins backwards, it probably has got polarity. Okay. Okay. All right, I'll go get some screws for that and we'll get it buttoned up and we're off to the races. Okay, I found the screws that go in here. There is a little bit of rationale to me wanting to jump the gun a little bit and start putting some stuff back on here. Part of the reason is I have a shelf full of tons and tons of parts. And if I can get some of these parts back into their home, it just reduces the amount of stuff flaying around, potential for losing parts. And just, you know, better help organizing the pieces that I have. So I just like to clean them up a little bit as I go and then get them on the machine and just get them out of the way, so to speak. And let's see here. Oop. So this one screw right here, for some reason, the previous owner must have thought it was requiring a couple 100 foot-pounds because it's a little stripped out. I took it over to the grinder and cleaned it up a bit, but it's still kind of messy. All right, so then we're sitting here idle and we'll lower the speed to 0. And there we go. Yep. So I think that that's going to do it for today.